Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Hey, if you're enjoying the show, I feel like it really clicked this week, so this would be a great week to share it with a friend. It's a great week for newbies to sample the show, so if you wouldn't mind doing that, I appreciate it. I told you yesterday, today would be robust, that I'd bumped a few things. We will get to those, and another fight involving Dave Chappelle. That's always fun. First, a quick joke from late night. Seth Meyers said at his rally, former President Trump said, "I do great with suburban housewives." Seth said, in fact, Trump recently found out that was his most viewed category. Think about it. All right, Jerrod Carmichael is the cover story on Esquire, and according to Carmichael, a comment from Dave Chappelle about Rothaniel continues to live with them. Carmichael said, Chappelle referred to it as the bravest special for 1996. Which sounds nice until you remember that Rothaniel came out in 2022. Carmichael said, it's like a funny enough line, but whatever. But I wonder if it gets the irony that the fact that you're mocking it, that's why it was hard. Back in 2022, Carmichael told The Hollywood Reporter that Chappelle's legacy is currently a bunch of opinions on trans stuff, which he called an odd hill to die on. I agree. I have said many times on this program, Dave Chappelle's obit is going to be Dave Chappelle, creator of Chappelle's Show, blah, blah, blah. Trans controversy. And I don't know why he wants that to be his obit. You know, in the fourth paragraph, we'll get to the Mark Twain Prize, something like that. But Dave, just move on, Dave. Carmichael clarified his comments and told Esquire that Chappelle is not revealing anything personal about himself, and he's removed from what he's talking about. I think he's smarter than that and deeper than that. He has more interesting thoughts. According to Carmichael, Chappelle did not take constructive criticism too well. He took it as F Dave Chappelle because he's an egomaniac. He wanted me to apologize to him publicly or some crap. Carmichael says, so much of comedy is just gay jokes. As long as people continue to laugh at it and mock it, as long as it's a punchline, it's going to be scary for somebody. It's scary for me. David Letterman is coming back with a new season of My Next Guest Needs No Introduction. One of those guests, John Mulaney, Netflix shared a clip. In it, Mulaney and Letterman stroll the hallways of John Mulaney's Chicago high school.
I went to a birthday party, and Mr. MacArthur, his name was, he said, that's a sharp shirt you have on. And I said, yeah, sometimes I use it instead of scissors. Pretty good.
And Mr. McCarthy laughed?
Everyone laughed.
Everyone. And so that...
And then my dad would have these, in the summer, his law firm would have these, like, summer parties at our house. I'd watch Dr. Ruth on TV, I was like 5. And then I walk up to different partners and I go, I'm going to be a sex therapist. And they go, what? And I go, sex is an experience of life. It brings joy to the body. I just repeat things Dr. Ruth said. And I was destroyed.
Wow, that's pretty edgy, esoteric stuff.
Yeah, it was a very funny bit to do. I think I knew it's funny that you're 5, holding a Schweppes, walking around.
That episode will be out on April 30th. Joe Rogan commented on The View and said, it's the show that people love to hate. They get so much hate watching and viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. It's a rabies-infested henhouse. Daniel Tosh is spreading a false rumor. Even he says it's false, but he'll spread it anyway. Let's hit Gossip Corner.
Gossip Corner.
On the Tosh Show podcast, Daniel Tosh said, here's something crazy. I went to the grocery store in Malibu and I was talking to an employee there. I tried to avoid it, but I was talking to this guy and I said, why were you guys closed yesterday? The worker responded saying, well, I'm not supposed to discuss it. But according to the story, the Kardashian Jenner crew were filming the season 5 finale of The Kardashians at the store. Tosh said, spoiler alert, this random grocery store person is telling me that they rented out the entire store, shut it down, and then acted like they were grocery shopping. That's the scene that apparently happened. Kylie reveals that she's pregnant again with Timothée Chalamet's kid. What a bombshell. Tosh added, story might not be true, saying, I'm not verifying anything. This is what an employee at a grocery store in Malibu told me. A source close to the Kardashians told the Daily Mail, this story is 100% false. Joe Coy spoke to the Seattle Times. He was talking about the Golden Globes. I don't know if you knew that Joe Coy hosted the Golden Globes. And he told this just horrible, mean joke about Taylor Swift, who then justifiably basically murdered Joe Coy's career. Let's listen to the horrible, mean thing Joe Coy said.
The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift.
Whew, it's brutal. Joe Coy told the Seattle Times, you've got Whoopi Goldberg FaceTiming me and Jamie Foxx FaceTiming me. Do they all have each other's numbers, or do you have to, tell your assistant, like, hey, see if you can get me Joe Coy's cell phone number so I can FaceTime him. And do you start with a FaceTime? Do you text? Like, are you just sitting home and your phone goes do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, and you're like, oh, it's Whoopi Goldberg? Maybe I'm not famous enough. The internet will blow up anything out of proportion. Look at the gig. It's like a corporate gig, and unfortunately, this one was televised. It's all good. I went on to sell out the Kia Forum. That's more important to me. I'm the first comic to sell 6 sold-out nights at the Forum. That's one of those things I hold close to my heart. Those are the gigs I was thinking about when I saw Eddie Murphy at Climate Pledge Arena. Sucking up to Seattle there. Conan O'Brien will return to The Tonight Show. No, don't get too excited. He's not returning as host. He'll be a guest on Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show. Conan will be on Tuesday night to promote his new Max series, Conan O'Brien Must Go, the one that only has 4 episodes because, I don't know, I don't have access to the books, but I don't think HBO, Warner, etc. has all that much money, and they said this thing was coming out, and it is coming out, but 4 episodes seems a little light to Johnny Mac. James Corden was on with Jimmy Kimmel and said no, he was not fired from CBS. He said, no one believes me that I wasn't fired. I'll be in a pub or something, and people will be like, so why'd you come back to England? Corden said, people will be like, you don't have to give me that BS. If you got fired, you got fired. Because nobody thinks that you'd ever leave what is, let's be honest, a cushy existence. Kimmel said, can't you get a letter from CBS saying that you weren't fired, that you left on your own free will? Corden jokingly replied, it's hard to convince anybody in England that CBS exists or that a show would air as late as 12:30. Have you been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm? I am way behind on Curb. I am obsessed with 3 Body Problem on Netflix, which is not a comedy, but I am obsessed with that. And Shogun. Shogun is really good, too. But I only watch TV. The Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays tend to be my TV nights. On Tuesday, there's always comedy specials to watch, so I'm behind on everything. But in the season premiere, Larry David's character, Larry David, was arrested for violating the Georgia state election integrity law after giving Leon's aunt a bottle of water while she waited in line during a hot day in Atlanta. Last month, real-life Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger sent a letter to Larry David addressing the plotline. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution obtained the letter in a public records request. I love this podcast. There's always something totally random like that fun fact. The letter apparently reads, as the chief elections officer for the state of Georgia, would like to congratulate you on becoming the first and, to our knowledge, only person arrested for distributing water bottles to voters within 150 feet of a polling station. We apologize if you didn't receive celebrity treatment at the local jail. I'm afraid they've gotten used to bigger stars. That's a backhanded thing about a guy whose initials are DT. It's the TMZ of mugshots. So Johnny Mac was at trivia, and he saw his friend Van. Van is the cool one in the group. I'm not the cool one. I know you're like, John, you're not the cool one? No, I'm not the cool one. Van is the cool one. He drinks bourbon. I'm not a bourbon drinker, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe Jim Gaffigan bourbon is awesome. So I asked Van about Jim Gaffigan bourbon, and I expected him to make fun of it. And he was like, no, I would try it. And I was like, what? And then we had a whole conversation about Jim Gaffigan bourbon. And I'm like, but isn't it like totally uncool? He's like, no, I'd try it. And then I told him the price point, and then he was like, no. So I don't know. I don't think Jim Gaffigan bourbon sounds cool at all. How about Danny McBride tequila? GQ did a profile of Danny, and the part I found interesting was about the tequila. It's called Don Gato. He plans to launch it this year. Danny told GQ, I drink a lot of tequila. Everyone in my circle drinks a lot of tequila. And so we're like, let's make one. I know everyone and their mother's doing that. It's kind of lame. Ellie Hino's new album is out today. It is called Soft Bones. Here's a clip.
I have a new mantra, okay? I have this mantra that I have to recite now every time I go to Target, okay? I have to tell myself over and over. I have to say, Ellie, you are a 44-year-old woman. You're a 44-year-old woman. Do not try on a romper. But I do it. I do it every time. And then I'm just standing there in the dressing room, just half buttoned. Like, what did you think was gonna happen, Ellie? Was it gonna be different this time? You look like a chaperone at Coachella.
Good stuff. I like her material a lot, and she's very charismatic. Let's keep an eye on her. She said, I was lucky enough to open for Maria Bamford at a big theater show in Minneapolis, and she told me it was time to record an album. She said, poop it out, just poop it out. Soft Bones is a compilation of stories about being an ADHD mom, a weird wife, and a regular human woman. Let's see what's happening at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. We're 3 weeks into this, and you would think I would remember to preload the website before I hit record. I don't. As I'm babbling here, the website is loading, notoriously slow. All right, it is April 5th for you and I probably, and those of you in Melbourne, it's already April 6th. Let me tell you what you can do on Saturday night at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, which continues till April 21st as we wait for the website to load. And what you missed there was the 9 seconds of silence that I took out. All right, let's do some with clips today. Tony Knight's show is called Mad Dogs and an Englishman. It's the world's first and so far only comedy show about dog behavior. Stand up and sit. I like what you did there. Suitable for all ages. And the Melbourne Comedy Festival has lied to me. There's no clip. Sigh. Alex White's show is called Don't We Look Stupid? Have you ever seen a photo of yourself from yesteryear and cringed so hard that you disassociated? Can you report your mother to child services for how you dressed as a toddler? This is an hour show about life caught awkwardly on photo. There is indeed a clip. Let's listen.
And a lot of other jobs have this stigma of doing nothing and being lazy, which is very unfounded, I feel. Like, if you guys heard, like, council workers, there's a stigma that council workers are lazy, guys out there repairing the roads. Dad would always drive past, like, look at these guys doing nothing. I don't think those guys are lazy at all after 10 years working in an office. I just think those guys are really exposed, okay? Do you know what I mean? Like, I tell you what, I would not look that crash hot if my desk was in the middle of the Princess Highway, okay, you know?
Took a little long to get there, and I'm not sure the payoff was all that good, says the guy recording a podcast in his basement. Scary Stranger said Alex's show was the stand-up highlight of this year's Sydney Fringe Festival. His joke writing was tight. Well, that's interesting. Did not find that writing tight at all. I'm sorry, Alex White. Maybe you should start a bourbon. Sam Gorleap, his show's called Big Ick Energy. I said ick. There's a picture of him smiling, and he has a guitar with him. Let's see. Watch as he exposes his icks in front of a live audience through stand-up and song. The Adelaide Advertiser said natural charisma, good hair, mad rap skills. All right, let's listen.
I got my pen license last week, just like we always talked about. You said that this would make me a big boy, and I hope to make you proud. Now I'm writing a story, and it doesn't rub out.
All right, I don't think I'm hopping on a plane to Melbourne today. Maybe tomorrow will be a little better. Let's see if we can start shrinking these shows down. They've been getting quite long, so let's wrap there. We can meet up here tomorrow. Follow the podcast wherever you get your shows. Tell a friend about it. See you here tomorrow. Bye.